Alright, y'all. So this is a video I honestly didn't expect to have to make, and I really didn't want to have to make it. But we need to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, bro. The Bucks have now lost each of their last 3 games, and they entered all 3 of those games as double-digit favorites. I literally wrote about their game versus Toronto, and I remember I was talking about it. I was like, damn, they just lost to the Wizards and the Grizzlies. Like, damn. But then I was like, bro, there's no way they lose to the Raptors. We're on a 15-game losing streak. The Raptors didn't even seem like they wanted to win any more games. Like, why not just tank at this point? We had so many injuries late. And we had like so many players miss time lately. So what was the point for the Raptors? They went out there and lost. The Bucks went out there and lost to the Raptors at home. So during the stretch, they lost to the Wizards, as I just mentioned, but that was in Washington. And then they lost to Memphis and Toronto in Milwaukee as the home team. And Doc Rivers, he was hired on January 26th after the Bucks played 43 games under Adrian Griffin. I think they were like, I need to do math. I don't know. They were something good. It was like 34-11 or something like that. Like they were, that doesn't make sense. Like 32-11 or something like that. They were something really good. They spent just over half the season under Adrian Griffin, and there were concerns, right? It was like we didn't see the Giannis and Dame pick and roll enough. We didn't feel like the defense, or no. Yeah, it was just bad. It was like the defense was terrible. The offense was pretty good, but the defense was terrible, or vice versa, something like that. But I understood the firing, but then they hired Doc Rivers, and we'll talk about that. I did not like that. But anyway, his first game as head coach was on January 29th against Denver. Again, he was hired on the 26th. They had an interim coach for a game or two, and then his first game on the sideline was against Denver. And you remember they had that video right after Adrian Griffin got fired. The Bucks were all dancing on the court. You know what I'm saying? It was like, damn, this man was really, like, they were waiting on him to get fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, the memes were all over Twitter and everything like that. Well, look at him now. His first game as the head coach, like I said, January 29th against Denver. Since then, since Doc Rivers' first game, including that first game, they're 15-16 under Doc Rivers. They're below 500 under Doc Rivers. I think they've lost to Memphis twice in there. They lost to Utah. They lost to Toronto and Washington, as I just mentioned. Like, it's been bad, bro. Especially recently, it's been bad. And Giannis didn't play against Toronto, so, like, I feel you. But Dame dropped 36, and y'all still lost to the Raptors without Scotty Barnes. At home, while fighting for the 2 seed. Interesting. Anyway, Milwaukee and Cleveland now have the exact same odds at 42% to finish the season as the 2 seed in the East. They both also have the same odds to finish as the 3 seed. I believe it's like 36% or something like that. So they are literally, the odds are one of those teams will be the 2, one of those teams will be the 3. And with the schedule that we're going to talk about in a minute that Milwaukee has left, Cleveland, Orlando, or New York, if any one of them came up there, and maybe not New York because they've been struggling lately, they've lost like 4 of their last 5, but any one of those teams could come up and take the 2 seed with how hard the Bucks schedule is and with how bad the Bucks have been playing recently, bro. Milwaukee has been the main team that people have been talking about that can contend with the Celtics in the East, right? Like, we've had, you know what I'm saying, Philly looks dangerous, especially with Embiid back now, but we don't know what Embiid's health is really like. Like, we don't know what that's going to be like into the playoffs for a full 7-game series. And also we haven't seen Embiid. We haven't trusted Embiid in the playoffs throughout his career yet, so we don't know we don't even know what Embiid we're going to get in the playoffs, especially coming off of an injury. There's rumblings about New York. There still is, but New York has a lot of injuries. Julius Randle, we're not sure what's going on there. Jalen Brunson's been playing his rear end off, bro, but it's like the Knicks are struggling recently, so we don't know what's going on there. Orlando, that's a good team, but they're young. We don't really, you know what I'm saying? We don't trust them. Their offense isn't really good enough either for the playoffs. Their defense is great, but I don't trust their offense enough in the playoffs. And then you got teams like Miami, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to catch lightning in a bottle 2 years in a row. It's not going to happen, but if there was a team that could do it, I would see it being the Heat because they have pretty much the same core. If anything, they got better. Especially with the way Terry Rozier's been playing recently. Like, my goodness, right? So I could very realistically see the Bucks finishing as low as the 4 seed in the East. I'm sorry, like that whole... I was in the bandwagon too, where it's like, if there is a team in the East, and I still believe this, if there is a team in the East that's going to beat Boston, it will be Milwaukee. But with the way they're playing recently, they don't have a shot. And I mean, Boston has been playing great either. They were literally, they were like one missed layup away from losing a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Kings yesterday. So it's like, they're not great either. I'm not saying they're unbeatable or anything, but with the current state of the East, they might be unbeatable in the East with how bad the Knicks have been lately and the health concerns we have with them. We don't know what Embiid's going to be like. Like I said, Miami, it's a threat, but you never really know. And then Milwaukee, again, it's a threat, but with the way they've been playing, it's not that big of a threat right now. And let's talk about Milwaukee's remaining schedule, right? Their final 5 games, they have 5 games left in the season. Their final 5, they play New York. Like I said, they've been struggling recently, but they're still a very good team with Jalen Brunson playing at a very, very high level. Tom Thibodeau, we know what that defense is like. We know what they're going to do. We know what they're about. You never know that you could very easily lose to them, okay? If you're just the Bucks, you could very easily lose to them. Then right after that, they go see Boston. All right. Good luck. And then they see Orlando twice, not back-to-back. I think they see Orlando, and then they have one more game, and then they have Orlando to finish the season. But they see Orlando twice. Again, a good young playoff team, a lot of heart. They're going to be fighting for this 3 seed, this 3-4-2, this region. Anywhere from 2 to 5 in the East is kind of wide open right now. But the Magic are one of those teams that's in that race, and they're in there for a reason. I'm sure they want as high a seed as possible, so they're going to come out firing on all cylinders, I'm sure. And then they see OKC too. OKC still fighting for that 1 seed in the West. They're going to come out firing on all cylinders. Boston, New York, OKC, all some of the best teams in the league, and we know that Orlando's a good young team. And the Bucks' finishing schedule ranks as the hardest in the NBA. With how they've played recently, bro, not only do they have the hardest schedule, that just makes it look even more bleak, bro. Like, the fact that they have the hardest schedule, and then you couple that with the fact they just lost to 3 of the boo-booest teams in the league. I'm sorry, Toronto. I hate to say it, but we suck. So, like, that makes this stretch even more bleak. And then Milwaukee, to me, is still, like I said, it's the second best team in the East, right? That's what I personally believe, that just because of the superstar talent. Coming into the playoffs, you know, Dame and Giannis, we expect to see great things from them. I don't trust Doc Rivers at all, though. And that's the scariest part to me, is that you got Doc Rivers out here taking shots at the damn ball boy and the damn equipment manager and everything. Brother, do your job. Like, you're 15 and 16 since you've been hired. Do your job. Like, stop worrying about talking about, oh, we don't have an identity, blah, blah, blah. Bro, I don't give a damn. Giannis has won 2 MVPs and a Defensive Player of the Year. We know what Dame is, bro. Like, Dame was the front runner for Clutch Player of the Year for a while this season. Like, are we serious right now, bro? Like, you need to take some accountability yourself. And I don't know, bro. They have a lot of things they need to work on. Like I said, I personally was very vocal about not liking, I didn't have this channel yet, but I personally was very vocal about not liking the Doc Rivers hire in the first place. And now that things aren't looking good heading into the playoffs, keep in mind the fact that Doc does not have a good playoff resume outside of 2008. I have very little faith in the Bucks to contend, but I'd love to hear what y'all think about this. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. I mean, not Instagram. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up in the comments. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. Y'all mean the world to me. Stay blessed. Stay praying. Love y'all.